Hey everybody, welcome back. Mike here. Today we're going to talk about Google Sheets. Specifically, we're going to start at the very beginning for those of you completely new to Google Sheets. The good news is it's pretty easy to use and I think you'll pick up on it really fast. So what I want to do is spend most of this lesson getting in and actually working with it and just kind of understanding the basic kind of foundational knowledge of Google Sheets. So let's get right to it. All right, so to get to Google Sheets, there's a couple of ways you can do it. One of the easiest is probably to just go to google.com, and if you already have a Gmail account and you're signed in, you should see these dots in the top right for Google Apps. If you click those and you scroll down, we're looking for Sheets. There we go, right here. So we can access it this way by just clicking Sheets. You can also just Google Sheets, and it should be one of the top results. It will be at this address right here, docs.google.com/spreadsheets. We'll go ahead and click that. All right, once we do that, we're brought into Sheets. This is where you can actually see all of your available spreadsheets that you've been working with previously, and we can create new ones. Now let's go ahead and start by creating a new one. The easiest way to create a blank spreadsheet is to just click blank right here. But before we do that, I want to show you something kind of cool. There is something called the template gallery right here. So let's go ahead and click that. And it shows you all of these different types of templates. So if you want to do a monthly budget or a calendar or debate the pros and cons of going to one location versus another for your family vacation, whatever the case is, there's probably a template here that you can work with. In our case though, we want to start with just a blank template. So I'm going to click blank, and this will create our very first spreadsheet. Now from here, this should look pretty familiar for those of you coming from Microsoft Excel. It's definitely very similar. Now, the first thing I want to show you here is the name of the spreadsheet. We can see it says Untitled Spreadsheet. To click on that, we just need to click the name and type, we'll say Important Spreadsheet. And then hit enter once we're done typing the name. That's it. The next thing you'll notice is right here, it says saved to drive. It popped up for a minute and then it disappeared. That's one of the key differences with Google Sheets versus something like Excel, is it will essentially continue to save as you go. So when you make changes here, such as let's type in name, it will automatically save. See that at the top? It said saving, save to drive, and now it's saved. So if I just close my laptop right now, that change was saved to Google Sheets. All right, now in terms of, let's start talking about what if I made a change and I want to roll back. Well, we have the menu up here. We would go to File, and from there we can either go to Version History, that's one way, and under here we can go to See Version History. And from here, you see it shows the versions on the right side. It says today, January 10th, 325. Then I have a current version, and prior to that, I had a different version. So if I click the old version, you see how it erased that name cell that I entered previously. It's gone. If I want to roll with this new version or roll back to the old version, that's confusing, then all I have to do is click restore this version. From there, it'll ask us if we're sure. Let's say, yes, we are. And now we're back to the older version. So that's how you can kind of manage the differences between those two if you do make a change. Now, another quick way to fix a change, let's say we go name and I type in Roger and I say, oops, it was not supposed to be Roger. Of course, I can go to that cell and I can delete it. But another way is I can just go to the undo button right here and I can just click that. And the same thing as if I mistakenly delete something, I can redo it and put it back. And by the way, these shortcuts, as you can see here, if I mouse over, you do have keyboard shortcuts as well. And for the most part, they align pretty much with what you're used to from a Microsoft Excel standpoint. All right, now in our case, let's go ahead and let's delete that. So to delete text here, all I'm gonna do is highlight the cell I want to delete and just push the delete key. That's it, it's gone. Now in our case though, I want to create a very basic spreadsheet. I wanna list some names and some quotas for different sales reps on my team. So what I can do is I can say name, and let's create a header. So we'll say quota attainment. Now, once we type in that cell, all I did is clicked in the cell and typed. All we have to do to start formatting this is I'm going to click and highlight both of these cells, and let's give it a background. So I'm going to go up to the menu here to fill color. And if we click that, I'll say I want something kind of light. So let's do like a light green. There you go. That looks good. From there, I'm going to then make the text bold by clicking the B here. Again, very similar to other tools. Now you'll notice here that the cell, I'm kind of spilling out from my cell to this other cell. From B1 here, I'm spilling out to C1. To fix that, I can actually just double click on these. I can manually drag them, of course, but another option is I just double click right there and it will auto size to fit the contents of that cell. All right, now in our case, I do want to put some names here. So let's do Mark, Sally, Joe, Matt, and Samantha. All right, from there, I'm going to highlight all of those and I'm going to do Command C to copy. Again, if I didn't want to do the keyboard shortcut, we could click Edit and go to Copy right here. And then I'm just going to click right below that and I'm going to do Command V. Another option there is you could click up here and go to Paste as well. In our case, I will go ahead and paste that a couple of times. That looks good. Now for quota attainment, I'm going to just put in some numbers. We'll do 52, 1. Well, that's quite high. All right. We'll just put in some numbers here. So it doesn't really matter. What I want to highlight here is how to actually get this header looking the way we want it to look. So in our case, we have kind of some basic values here. Nothing really fancy. We're just kind of illustrating very basic Google Sheets features. So in order to get the header to stay there, because what I want to do is freeze it. So for example, when I scroll down and I have a bunch of values down here, I want to know which column header, what is the header for that column? What does it say, right? Like I don't know right here that the B header is quota, for example, or that A should be name. So to do that, we can freeze the header. And the way that I'll do that is I'll click that first row. And from there, we can then go to View and down to Freeze. Now what this will do, like I said, when we click one row, it's going to basically say, I will freeze that one row so that even if you scroll, that row is constantly visible, which is great for headers in these spreadsheets. So let's go ahead and click one row. Now if I scroll down, look at that. Even though I'm scrolling down and I'm scrolling back up and down, we see that the header is now completely frozen in place, which is exactly what we wanted. All right, so moving on, let's talk about formatting. So we saw how to kind of manually format these header cells, this quota attainment and name. And again, we're just doing it really basic. We're not trying to make it look amazing yet. We're just trying to understand the features. Now, if we wanted to create additional headers, maybe we say, I don't know, let's say location, and I'm going to hit enter. And I can use my arrows to go over to the next one. Let's say hire date. And we'll go with one more. We'll say territory, something like that. All right, so we have those put in here, but we want to format them the exact same as these cells right here. Now, the challenge, of course, is we can manually do it, but what if I click the wrong format button? For example, what if I click the wrong color? Or what if I forget one of them? I have to go back. It's very manual. So that's where the format painter can come in. So that's this thing right here. It looks like a paint roller. So it says paint format. So all you have to do is click the cell that you want to be sort of your model. So this is what I want the other cells to look like in terms of the formatting. You click that cell and then click the paint roller and then drag on the cells that you want to match that. And that's all we really need to do. From there, because we have that first row frozen, I can still scroll up and down and that header stays in place. All right, the last thing I want to talk about in this lesson is how we can get data out of Google Sheets. One of the problems I run into is I work in Google Sheets and in Microsoft Excel. So sometimes I want things in Sheets only, sometimes I want them in Excel only, but a lot of times I want to take something from one tool to the other. In this case, what we could do if we want this spreadsheet to be downloaded and put into Excel, all we have to do is go to File, and we can then go down to Download, and from there we go over to Microsoft Excel, or the format of your choice. Obviously, if we want to export as a PDF or something like that, you can, but that's all there really is to it. Once we click Excel, it then downloads that spreadsheet, and now if I click it, it should open up in Excel, which it does on my local laptop. All right, that's all I have for you in this lesson. I wanted to keep it really basic before jumping into the deep end because I think the stuff that we went over in this lesson are really necessary before getting into those more advanced features. So that said, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you get updates for more lessons like this as we continue to dive deeper and deeper and deeper into Google Sheets. And I promise you, we will definitely be getting into more intermediate and advanced features as we go on. So stay safe and healthy, and until next time, stay nerdy.